That Sports Couple podcast brings you this special edition of Baseball Talk with Coach Marty.
Brought to you by
Today's guest is St. Charles Catholic Comets coach Wayne Stein.
Welcome to That Sports Couple. I'm Coach Marty Luquette here with Coach Wayne Stein from St. Charles Catholic, and this is our pull-out sessions that we're doing with each school. So, Coach, you're our first guinea pig. Thanks for being with us here on Mardi Gras Day.
Well, I appreciate you having me, and always a pleasure to talk to you guys and talk about our school and talk about our programs.
Well, I've been doing Delgado games on TV. I've been the color guy with Trahan, and I went saw Southeastern a little bit, and everywhere I go, I see a St. Charles Catholic alum. Man, a lot of success and a lot of good players. Eh?
Yeah, it kind of shows you, that Marty, you're only as good as your players, and it's no secret of why we went to 5 straight championships as you watch those college games and you get a chance to see those Comets play and perform.
And, and they really play at a high level. And it's fun to watch, and a lot of pitching, and a lot of left-handed pitching.
Yeah, we don't quite have that. We do have a young one who's really good, but we've been blessed with that for sure.
Well, it's early in the season. You all come out the gate 6-6. You played some good teams as always. You played a great schedule. Not afraid to tee it up with other people that can play a little bit. So, kind of give us a recap of what's happened so far.
Yeah, honestly, I actually told the kids this after we lost to Lutcher on Saturday. I probably would have signed up for 6-6. Looking at our schedule, there's one or two that maybe we stole that we should have never won, and there's one or two that we gave away. That kind of balances it out. We have been blessed to play some good people. I've been blessed at St. Charles to not have to really, uh, at least I haven't to this point, worry about making the playoffs. So I've been able to challenge our schedule. We've been talented enough to win enough games, and so at the end of the day. One of my assistant coaches in football always says it's a race to see how great you can be at the end. We've had a good start, played a lot of good teams. Went to Monroe, played some high level environment River Parish games versus Destrehan and Lutcher, in which I love just for the pressure of it. So I'm pleased with where we are. Sure, I'd like to have a more wins than losses. But I think, getting into March is where I want to see us start to grow and progress.
Well, I've always felt that the first 15 games would have defined your team. You know, at that point, you say, okay, now I've got a pretty good idea who I want to play, who fills what role. And 15 games, kind of that number, you get close to that right now.
Right, coach. And I think this year more than ever, because I don't return a lot of guys with experience. I return, really one arm with a decent amount of experience. And I return 3 guys who have a lot of experience in the lineup. And the guys that are in there are talented. They've been sitting behind a lot of those guys you just said you've been watching play on a college level, and now it's their turn to shine. And then I find the biggest adjustment for that, coach, is those kids have a great day and they think that that's what they are, or they have a bad day and they think that that's where they are, and it's about trying to manage them and not getting too excited when they have a great day and not getting too down when there's a bad day, and trying to raise, we always talk about at St. Charles, raising the ceiling of our bad day. We want our bad days to be as good, like some people's good days. So, that's been some growing pains, but at the end of the day, our kids really work hard, and I do think that we'll start hitting our stride sometime here in the next 2 weeks.
Well, who stood out for you? I know you went up to Monroe and kind of got hot. You beat a good Ouachita Christian team, a good Ruston team. Who's starting to play well for you by name?
Well, we're led at the top by our seniors. Our leadoff hitter Jackson Doster, who's going to go to Millsaps. He started to kind of get hot. We're led on the mound by our senior Luke Dewhurst, who's going to go to Nunez Community College. And then we're led. We have 5 seniors. We've had a lot of success with 4A Fob has done a bunch of great things for us. We're just getting back a basketball player. He hadn't played his first game yet, in Rashawn Hilaire. Uh, we've had some opportunities with a lot of different guys to get those chances. Logan Kleber's had some big hits for us. He's getting his first opportunity to kind of get out there. Excuse me. Uh, and then we got some young bucks also getting an opportunity. So we're led by five seniors. Four of them had their chance so far, and Doster, Kleber, Fobb, and Dewhurst, and then Rashawn Hilaire is just coming out of basketball. Some of the guys with experience are young. Dax Prejean, you've heard the Prejean name, has been around St. Charles for 30 something years. He's the last of the Prejeans. He's kind of what makes us go at the top of the lineup. And then another young buck in Gabe Kugler. He's a junior as well, who at the catching position has been excellent, managing the pitching staff and throwing runners out. And he's had some big, big hits for us. And then, we're young as well as a sophomore, or one of our most talented guys is Bryce Wagisback. He's a left-handed arm. He was really sharp the other night versus Lutcher, but he's got to go through those growing pains of having good games and having bad games. Brooks Monica has been somebody who's been, in the lineup for us, doing some great things coming off an injury. So what we don't have, Marty, at this point in the season that we've had in the past, is we don't have quite the depth. Usually at St. Charles, there's 12 or 15 guys for me to kind of find nine. And my second level of guys is continuing to get better. Some of them are not quite ready yet. So we've really been kind of rolling with nine guys. Uh, so this next week or so, like you said, in that 15 game mark, I feel the same way as you did. You start finding out who's going to hold on to the job, who may need to take a little bit less of a role, and things of that nature. So we have been blessed. I think that we've pitched it well. We've have not swung the bat as well as I like us to swing the bat. And some days we've been really good defensively, and some days we haven't. And I thought defense would be our strong point going in.
You have you played in 3 tournaments already. You have one left, and then things seem to stretch out a little bit and allows you to use more or solidify your pitching a little bit more.
It does, which I do like the early part. I like the 4 game tournament just because you are forced to throw somebody. I do think in the playoffs, in a 3 game series, in a highly competitive 3 game series to advance, you need to have 6 arms that you trust. And we're getting to that. We're getting very close to that. Now, I'm one of those guys that babies my kids' arms just because they're all football players, so they've not been throwing all year. So, rule of thumb for me is first weekend, 60 pitches, second weekend, 70 pitches, third weekend, 80 pitches, and then we're going into the fourth weekend. So, 90 pitches is kind of my mark. And then after that, I feel like arms are in shape, and I'll go as far as 100. So, that also breeds you having to throw some guys that maybe you weren't ready to throw. And you know this, coach, because you've done it. The toughest part about these tournaments, right? And it's happened to me in Monroe. You're in a game and you got a chance to win it. And you go to the guy that's supposed to start the next day to win it. And when you do that, you better win it. Because if not,
You're gonna lose.
you might lose the next 2, right? And that kind of happened to me. We won Thursday, Friday, and we kind of moved up some guys in the rotation. And it probably was the difference between us going 2-2 in the tournament and 3-1. But when you get a chance to win a game, I feel like you got to try to go win it.
And now with everything being in power points instead of district being so important, you got to get your wins while you get them.
That's right. Every game, the first game of the season and the last game of the season, power rating wise, is the same. So they all matter, and I get that. I wish our pitch count. I know a lot of baseball guys won't agree with me. I wish our pitch count rules were kind of progressive like that, really to protect kids, protect coaches from having, getting accused. I know no coach that wants anything to happen to their kids,
Right.
but just to protect them. It's February, and I know we got guys playing year round, but I just feel sometimes like 100 pitches in February is a lot. And you could argue both ways. Some of these kids been throwing, since October. But for us, that's the way we kind of do it. We just kind of progressively get to that number. We may lose a game, and what I tell my kids is, if we lose a game because I got to take so and so out of 80 pitches, we're not going anywhere down the road anyway.
Right.
That because we're gonna have to take him out at some point in the game to win one.
Well, and it's always about protecting those kids, especially early. And
Right.
all the good pitching coaches do it.
Right.
They take those guys out earlier. They limit them early in the season, and that's always good to see. But so let's talk district for a minute. You got a new district. You got a couple more teams in there than you had in the past.
I do, and it's a solid district. The guys that are always there. Obviously, Shaw has a commit left-handed pitcher to Southeastern. He's going to be a guy, and they're always Coach Foray does a good job. They're always ready to play. They play a monster of a schedule as well, so their record sometimes not always this pretty glamorous record, but they've been through the ringer by the time they get to you. And then obviously Bell Chase, Evan Tajan, a young guy, he's taken over, done a nice job. They have an arm who's committed to Southern Miss, and don't know a ton about, but been watching from afar. Kenner Discovery and the Willow School. The Willow School right now is second in our power rating, so they'll probably come to St. Charles next week with double-digit wins. So it's a good, solid district for baseball. And we just kind of do it the old way, Coach. We just play each other twice.
Yeah.
And I think all of us do a decent enough job scheduling that nobody's got to worry about losing and it being a power rating fiasco. So I'm pleased with our district, really am. So I expect it to be highly competitive.
And I played both those teams last year, the Willow and Kenner Discovery, and they both come out and play solid. They play a little defense. They had some Spanish kids that could play and pitch a little bit, and they were fun to watch.
Right.
And they'll come in and give you, and you'll have to beat them. And that's how you want your district.
That's right.
So, well, Coach, I appreciate your time. I'd like to talk to you another time in about 2 weeks, if that's okay with you, and we'll update where we are in the schedule at that time. And anything else? You had to have an exciting weekend with Lutcher. That's always fun. 3 games set against a really good team.
Yeah, we did, and I hope Lutcher feels the same way. I know we ended up winning the series, but I don't know what the attendance was Thursday night when Luke pitched, but it was an electric atmosphere, and we kind of stole it late. And then at our place, same thing. They had the lead most of the game, and we kind of stole it late, and then they kind of put it to us on Saturday. But you know it, Marty. We talk about it. I just think those River Parish games, they prepare you for the playoffs because it's not lose or go home, but there's a little more on it,
Right.
And I'm glad Lutcher and Coach Jensen, decided to play. We plan to continue it and do it next year. And we went to them twice this year. They'll come to us twice next year. And so the rivalry's for the fans, right? The kids know each other, but the rivalry's for the fans. But at the end of the day, I thought it was all in all it was great baseball. Both teams prayed together after the game 3, just knowing that we get after each other. Look, whether you like each other or not, when you're playing 3 times, you're pulling for them the rest of the year because every time they win, it's 3 points, right?
Every win's worth a lot.
That's right. So,
and Lori and I talked about it in our little talk yesterday. We were deprived of that game in football because of the circumstances, the weather.
Right.
That would have been a fun one to have in football too. And I'm glad you all were able to do it in baseball, and that's awesome.
Right. So, like I said, I'm pleased with our kids. I think we're getting better. We're blessed to be healthy. And I hope that when we talk next time, I got a lot more positive to report. But we expect to be there in the end, and that's a tough expectation moving up to Division II. But I just hope that we're playing our best baseball in April and not in February.
And Division II's got plenty of good teams. They know that about
Right.
Okay, well, Coach, I appreciate your time, and look forward to talking to you again. And hey, good good luck to the Comets.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Okay.